I am now going to search different rooms. So I only searched through the kitchen and got salt. That didn't do anything for me. So I'm seeing if there's anything in the other rooms that I can find to get out of this situation. Window. I tugged at the window. It wouldn't even budge. What was this? If he was a demon, this had to be his doing. But it was still glass. I touched the glass and punched it hard. I punched it? Who do I think I am? Ow, shit, yeah. At least I tried. I mean, you could have grabbed anything in this room. A book, TV, a chair. No, we're just gonna fucking death punch this goddamn window. Oh, that's too bad. It won't open for you? I spun around and looked at Ryer, who stood across the room from me. What did you do? I tried to sound brave, but suddenly tentacles shot out from his back and grabbed me, dragging me across the room and into his arms. And we're back here. Okay, so not that. Also, did he put up his crest? Hang on. Isn't this the crest? Did he put up, like print out and put up his crest just during all of this? Cool, man. So let's search the desk instead. I read somewhere that demons really didn't like silver. I had an old letter opener that was made from silver in the living room. I made a mad dash to the living room and dug around the piles of junk mail I had. Was that demons or was that werewolves? I thought that was werewolves that didn't like silver. I pulled out the letter opener and smiled. I hoped it would work. What are you doing? Reading your fan letters? Because I have so many fans. I turned fast on my heel and shoved the letter opener into Ryer's chest. Wow. Okay, look at us go. He smirked at me and put his hand around my neck. See here, I just had this shirt cleaned and you just made a mess of it. I kicked my legs around as he threw me onto the ground. Scrappy little human. I could feel myself getting dragged across the room towards him. Cool. So either way, get wrecked. Maybe since he's been stabbed with the silver, something different will happen. Well, we definitely don't want to take a shower because he'll come in. We don't want to eat the dinner because steak. Just go to bed, I guess. When would I wake up from this nightmare? My eyes fluttered open and I felt a heavy arm around me. What's up, Ryer? Something's wrong with you, Neo. Pretty sure something happened. So we call out for him, it ends. Last time we ignored him. Did we ignore him twice? We ignored him, and then we called out to him. Oh. We'll just ignore it again, like I was saying. But then we'll go back and try this one. I squeezed my arms tighter. I couldn't take the silence. I could hear my own blood rushing in my ears. I screamed wordlessly until my throat was raw. My breathing was ragged as I felt hot tears over my face. It was only getting worse. I wanted to scream more, but I could barely breathe. My whole body was shaking and my nails were digging into the flesh on my arms. My heart was pounding. It was all I could hear. Stop. The room was spinning. Everything became blurry as I realized I wasn't breathing at all. I tried to open my mouth, but I couldn't. Blood was trailing down my arms as I collapsed. I choked out a small gurgle and my vision went dark. Is that all you had? Miserable human. Okay, well, not that way. Let's see if we can go back. Okay. So let's try the wake up option. I rubbed my arms and looked down at my knees. I have to wake up. I squeezed my arms harder, then looked up. I just have to wake up. I braced myself against the wall and shakily stood up. I was dizzy. It felt like the room was tilting under me. Just have to... I stumbled slowly into the kitchen, then threw my weight against the countertop. Here. It's in here. I slid the drawer open and slammed my hand inside. This will... The metal objects in the drawer clinked and scraped against each other with my clumsy efforts. Finally, I withdrew my shining ticket out of this nightmare. A knife. I have a feeling this is not for Ryer. I swayed on my feet and held the blade tightly, then plunged it into my thigh. There it is. A hand slipped over mine, keeping the blade in place. A body pressed up against my back and spoke into my ear. "Oh, little human, I didn't think you'd go through such lengths to get out." The voice shocked me into silence when I would have cried out. The pain tearing through my leg and the blood running over my thigh cleared my mind, but the hand and the body pressed against me kept me frozen in place. If you wanted something deep inside... He pushed the knife deeper into my leg. "You could have just asked. If you wanted a good 2-second ride." I held the countertop and whimpered, trying not to scream. I didn't what? He pushed me hard into the counter, the knife hitting bone. One hand grabbed my chin and forced my head to look up at him. I cried out and fell forward, but his grip kept me in place. I just wanted it to stop. I sobbed, unable to keep calm. "You got your wish." He pulled the knife sharply out of my leg and tossed me on the ground. "You should be more careful with knives." He licked the blood off the blade and tossed it into the wall. I tried to get up, but I was shaking too much. Ryer slowly approached me and pressed his heel into my open wound. I stopped moving and groaned in pain. He dug into the cut and grinned. "Stop. Please." "Oh, you want me to stop?" That's what I said. Ryer picked up his shoe and leaned back. "Let me try something else." A tentacle shot out of his back and loomed for a moment. It reached into my wound and dug its way into my muscle. "Get something else, dude. He's such like a one-trick pony. He's just like, I have tentacles and I'm going to kill you with them every time we encounter each other." Like, it's getting old. It's getting old. The tentacles, old news. I screamed and dug my elbows into the floor. The agony was blinding. The tentacle worked its way around the bone and held onto it tight as it dragged me towards him. I could only let out a slow, pained moan as I felt the floor slide under me. Ryer stepped on my arm and leaned in. "Is that better?" I tried to speak, fighting through a hoarse gasp as I felt the thick tentacle in my leg. "No, it's not better." I writhed and sobbed out my answer. No, it isn't. Take it out, please." "I won't be doing that." More thin tendrils burst from Ryer's back then pierced into my skin. I screamed as my body tensed. They pushed deep into my muscles and snaked their way up my bones. The sensation was overwhelming and sickening. The tips forced their way out of my skin and weaved back under. My body sank into shock and I couldn't make it react. The tentacles pulled in opposite directions, ripping my muscle away from the bone. "You are so soft." I was vaguely aware of wet, tearing sounds. Blood sprayed around the room. I only saw the scene with surreal detachment for a moment, before I was no longer aware of anything. So maybe not the living room? I'm trying this stupid chase scene again. There has to be some ending where you don't die. I just need to find it. I feel like I have tried every possible combination at this point, but I'm just gonna try again. See if anything different happens that does not involve tentacles being ripped through my body. The living room. Okay. I feel like bathroom's not safe, attic's not safe. Kitchen hasn't been safe. So back to the bedroom. ending. This is a new ending. At this point, I don't even give a shit if I die or not, because I got a new ending this time. Okay, poked my head out. I couldn't even hear Ryer walking around anymore. Maybe he finally got bored of me. I felt a tentacle wrap around my ankle and drag me across the floor. Found you. I struggled against the tentacle and he flipped me over, pinning my arms to the ground. This game is over. The tentacles moved across my body and forced their way, yep. I could feel my head swimming. I couldn't take this anymore. My body loosened. Oh, sucks. Oh, no, ew. Oh! Ryer's amused voice cut through the haze in my mind. You are somewhat entertaining, but... Ryer sighed and shook his head. Maybe if you were just a bit more interesting, I would give you another chance. My eyes widened as I felt the tentacles shift. They started to pull in opposite directions. I let out a muffled scream as the tentacles ripped me apart. Okay, I take it back. I do care a little bit that it was a death. I do care. Damn it. I'm just trying options at this point. I remembered that there was a dialogue option where you throw salt at him, he puts a tentacle in your throat, and then you can either like breathe through it or you can try to scream. We breathed through it because we're not dummies. But this time we're gonna try to scream and see if that racks us up an ending. I tried to scream, but the tentacles forced their way deeper into my windpipe. I put my hands on the long tendrils, but there was no way I could pull them out. Everything was going dark. I tried to move, but I found that I couldn't tell my body what to do anymore. The pain was beginning to fade. Nothing left then. I tried to answer him. Nothing came out. Well, that was unfortunate. Humans are so fragile. Okay, yeah. Is there any ending where you don't die? Because I think there's only like 2 endings left. Right? Yeah, there's only 2 endings left. And I have not lived through a single one. I think this is another ending. I hate this stupid hide-and-seek game. I don't want to play the hide-and-seek game anymore. I am so tired of getting stabbed with tentacles. Like, oh my god. I tilted my head up, aiming my ear at the ceiling. No more footsteps. I slowly shifted out of my spot. Was it over? I could hear clapping near me and I jumped to the side. Good job, little human. I watched as those black tentacles shot out of his back and stabbed into my arms and legs. I let out a scream as they pulled me closer to Ryer. I was starting to feel nauseous as he grabbed my chin. Let me go. I flailed uselessly as the tentacles kept me in place. Still have the fire in you? A tentacle lashed out and smacked me hard across the back. Ryer watched my face twist in pain and I growled at him. I'm not giving in to you. I wasn't going to give up. Oh? How about this? The tentacle reeled back and smacked me across the back again. I let out a shriek and glared at him. I was starting to breathe hard. I could feel the blood running down my back. I want to offer you an opportunity to live. I felt the lash across my back again. It will not cost that much. Just your voice. Oh, he's Ursula. Cute. Just the small price of your voice. Or your soul. And I'll release you from this agony. No. Ryer's tentacle pulled back and struck me again. Are you quite sure? Yes, I am quite sure. I am quite sure you cannot have my soul. Thank you. I'd rather die. Ryer smirked at me as I felt my eyes closing. Perhaps you are the winner of this round. Maybe he'll let us go? Nope. I coughed up blood and let my muscles relax. My prize sucks. Everything faded away as I felt my consciousness leave me. I was thinking maybe we were strong, we were not gonna take his shit, we're not gonna sell you our soul, get wrecked, and then he'd be like, oh damn, you're pretty cool. Get out of here. I don't need you anymore. Good job. No. Alright, let's go give this bitch our soul, I guess. Yeah. I couldn't last any longer like this. I bit my lip and looked to the side. Fine, I accept. I yelled at the top of my lungs and he grinned. Oh, contract signed. You're mine now. He pressed his fingers into my jaw, holding it open as, the tentacles. The best way to get it is through the throat. I'm sure that is accurate. Everything went black as I felt like I was floating. What was this feeling? I pressed my hand against glass that surrounded me. Look at you, little human. I could hear Ryer's voice as I looked into a mirror. I was just a bottle. How was this even possible? See? Now you can stay in my collection. Forever. What? No! I banged my fists against the glass and screamed, but no voice came out. We never did specify your conditions of living. Is he a goddamn genie? Ryer gently kissed the bottle and placed it on the shelf. Enjoy yourself. What do demons do with all of these souls? I know in the Christian mythology, demons constantly ask for your soul, and the devil wants your soul for his own. But what do they do with it? They eat it? Just have it? He just puts it in bottles on a shelf. What does that do for him? Why does it matter? I don't know. Yay. So that is it. That is all of the endings for Ryer, Sano, and Stray. It looks like I still have 2 pictures left for Ryer. I have the rest of them. So I'm probably gonna go back and see if I can get that, just to max out the game. Okay, I never went and checked the bathroom, because the only place to look is in the cabinets. I ran into the bathroom and poked around. A jar of bath salt? So it's the exact same as the goddamn kitchen. Ugh. If I just throw it in his face like anthrax, it might not work. Putting the jar behind my back, I shuffled out of the bathroom. I trotted down the stairs quietly and looked around. Now to wait for him to come back. What are you doing, little human? I heard Ryer's voice and clenched my teeth. I tossed the mason jar at his head. Just fucking chunked this bath salt. Ryer leaned his head to the side and the jar shattered behind him. Did we think it was gonna break on his head? That was brave of you. Black tendrils shot out of Ryer's back and wrapped around my wrists. Goddamn one-trick pony. Ryer pushed me against the wall, grinding his palm into my skull as the tentacles cut through the back of my shirt. So brave, little human. Yet, foolish of you. I could feel the once soft tentacles cut through the skin on my back. We're not done here. I was flung across the room and hit the wall. Ryer standing triumphantly across me. And we're back here. Fuck off. So I think every time I did this one, because obviously. So I guess maybe this one will get us that picture. I don't like it though. Damn him. With the tentacles around my mouth, I didn't want to try to close it. They felt like metal, and closing my mouth would just hurt me. Which is true. Get stabbed. I put my arm back and stabbed him in the chest. Ryer looked at me, his eyebrows cocked up. How did you really think that would work? I have to try. Ryer smirked at me and smacked me across the face. I hit the floor and tried to crawl away from him. And there it goes. Okay. Let's threaten him. Get away from me. Ryer looked down at me like I was an annoying fly and smacked me across the room. Rude. Fuck. Okay. I guess nothing? I turned around and looked up at Ryer. There was no way a stupid kitchen knife was going to do anything to this guy. I dropped the knife and put my hands up. Nothing. That's what I thought. Okay. There was no getting out of that situation, I guess. So this was the point where we went a little bit crazy pants, decided to stab ourselves in the leg with a knife to try to wake up. And he asks, is this better? And we said no, because fucking how is that better? And this time we said yes. I know there's no more endings, but I'm wondering if I'm just trying to get the CG. I just wanted some mercy. Yes, it's better. I cried quietly and kept my head down. That's great. He placed a firm hand on my leg, feeling the tentacle moving under my skin. It slid out of my wound, and Ryer looked at the blood. The tentacle made its way over to my mouth, and yeah, he likes to do that a lot. I retched as I tasted my own coppery blood. But I tried to stay calm as I grasped desperately at the floor around me. I needed to focus on breathing. I could feel Ryer's hand on my leg as he pushed his fingers into my wound. He started to thrust his fingers inside of the hole and under the skin. I tried to scream, but all I could manage was a muffled whimper around the tentacle. I wanted to get away. I rubbed my uninjured knee on the floor and tried to pull myself forward. Do you have something to say? The tentacle pulled itself out of my mouth quickly. Sorry, bro. I looked at his face. I shrank in fear. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Ryer let out a sigh and stood up. I suppose I could let you go, but you won't. For now. Ryer grinned at me and left to the living room. I looked up incredulously. He was leaving? I lay there for a few moments before my gaze fell to my leg. I was bleeding all over the floor. I reached out and touched it with a wince. I needed to do something. I looked up at the doorway to the living room. I have sewing supplies. I have to stop all this blood. I positioned my arms and pushed myself up. I was shaking. I can do this. I got upright and placed my weight on my leg. Ooh. I panted from the pain and took a deep breath. Then I limped into the living room. Oh, I stopped in my tracks. There he was, just sitting in my armchair, sipping tea. Hello, little human. I'm surprised you're able to walk on your own. Ryer sipped out of his cup. Bravo. I tried to hide my pain and shot him what I hoped was a confident look. Then I glanced around the room. What are you looking for? He sounded so polite. I chewed my lip and looked away. We're not gonna get fooled by your little tea antics. I limped to the cabinet instead and lowered myself painfully to pull out the sewing kit. Oh, Cece, I didn't know you were an artisan. I scowled in his direction as he watched me drag myself to the couch. I flopped down and let out a frustrated sound between my teeth. Ryer put down his cup and steepled his hands in front of his face. He watched me intently and smiled. What are you going to do with that? I didn't respond as I pulled the needle and thread out of the kit. I needed to stop the blood from my leg. I held up the needle and thread and made a poor attempt at threading them. Oh dear, you are shaking. Are you sure you can do that on your own? Yes. He was right, my hands were shaking and I couldn't get the thread through the hole. My vision was starting to fade as well. I don't want to ask him for help. I don't. He can go fuck himself. But I'm hoping that asking him maybe will get us another picture. I attempted to thread the needle once more, but it was difficult to concentrate. I need help. What was that? Ugh. The joyful tone in his voice made me feel sick as I looked up at him. Please, I need your help. Ryer put down his cup and slowly made his way across the room. He was clearly taking his time, striding slowly over to me. Oh my god, he's so annoying. Was that so hard? Get fucked. I just stared at him as he threaded the needle with ease. He pushed the needle into my skin slowly. He was taking his time and sewing the wound shut, gently tugging at the thread every time he passed through. I could feel myself getting lightheaded as he sewed up my leg. How could you have done this on your own? You can't even keep your head straight. I felt my head lulling back as I started to close my eyes. No thank you? Go fuck yourself. I'm hurt. Ugh. It's not even worth it. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm doing it myself. I looked up at Ryer blearily and back down to the needle. I'm not asking for his help. No! I blinked several times and wiped at my sweat. Pushed the thread through. I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. I propped them against the cabinet and stared at the needle. Slowly, I licked my lip. There. See? Fuck off. I let out a deep breath. I couldn't help but glance up at Ryer. He was watching me intently, grinning. I wish I hadn't looked. It was hard enough to concentrate. I looked back down and lowered the threaded needle to my bleeding leg. After everything that's happened, I shouldn't worry about this little thing. I bit my lip, and I pushed the needle through my skin. I hissed out a sharp breath. It still hurt. I moved the needle miserably. I tried to ignore the presence in the room, but I could feel his eyes. And that smile, watching me coldly as I dragged the thread through my own skin. I just need to finish. I tugged the wound closed with a small whimper. I tied it clumsily. The room was blurring in and out of focus. Then I collapsed against the cabinet. Well, at least we didn't give him the satisfaction. Okay, I got one of them. Sipping his tea, looking smug as hell. Oh, maybe I need to decline dinner. I'm gonna try to do that. Okay. Fuck your dinner. No thank you. I'm just here for some crackers. I tiptoed around him and took a cracker box. After all this trouble? Yeah, after all this trouble. Fuck off. How rude. I looked at him, sweating a bit. I'm the rude one. Me. I'm the rude one. I'm being an ungracious host. I'm so sorry, Ryer. Thank you so much for coming into my house, tying me to the bed, doing unspeakable shit to me with your tentacles, and then cooking me dinner. And I have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to say no to your weird human meat steak. I looked at him, sweating a bit. Sorry, I'm not really hungry. Yep, I wasn't gonna take a chance on anything that demon had made. I wouldn't either. Alright. So let's check. Just die real quick, okay. And that was it? Sweet. That is all of them, I promise. I mean, I guess I can try to click through it, but there is Ween. Yeah, there it is. There it is. This route was surprisingly weenless. There really wasn't any ween to it. Which is good. I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, that is the entire game of Boyfriend to Death. It was definitely an interesting experience. The main character choices are a little crazy. They don't make sense. A lot of the time it was just not making any sense. Like, I would not have invited this man to live or to stay at my house after exchanging like 3 sentences. Would not have been happening. I would not have turned myself into a doll for weird was a lot of fun. And let me know if there's any other games that you want me to play. And I'll see y'all some other time. All of my exes were crazy. I'm sure you've heard that before.